Good morning, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. This morning, where are we? We've got everything here. Lots to talk about this morning. Johnny Kenny, Lewis Palma, and who do we start in midfield on Thursday? Not a lot changed other than that, but I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's nice and sunny here. Let's see who is all online this morning. Quite a few online in the chat. Good morning to everyone in the chat, and I apologise again that I'll not be able to read all your comments this morning. I'll just put out a disclaimer before we do anything else. Anyway, name the year. Name the year that this top. If you're doing this later on, stick it in the comments section. I won't reply to it, but just put it in the comment section. I'll have a look at the one, see who gets it right. Name the year that this top was a great Celtic top. It's a cracker, isn't it? I like these ones. How it wasn't Adidas. Adidas need to do one like this. Adidas definitely need to do one like this. Anyway, Stephen Schumacher. That's a name. That's a name and a half, isn't it? More aligned to Formula One than football. But Stephen Schumacher has said that Johnny Kenny, Sammy had it on. He did that. Sammy had it on. Stephen Schumacher believes that a Celtic youngster, and you have to remember he's just a youngster, 22-year-old is nothing in football terms, and he was expected to be the number one striker at Celtic. There's been three managers at Celtic that have talked up Johnny Kenny. Now, as fans, I know he's divisive, and a lot of people say he's never a Celtic striker. And you show me the last time a 22-year-old broke into the Celtic team and was number one striker at Celtic. The number one striker. It's never happened in a long, long time. It's never happened. Chris Commons wore it also. Yes, he did that. But anyway, have we put too much pressure, or as fans, have we expected too much of Johnny Kenny this season? Now, because Stephen Schumacher believes that the Irish youngster, has been reported in the Bolton News, he struggled at Celtic because of the pressure of being the number one striker. He reckons that he can be the difference to them gaining promotion in the promotion race. He says that the 22-year-old give his new club that he's on loan to the end of the season a glimpse of the promise in his debut at Lincoln on Saturday, and people will say, "Come on, mate, it was just Lincoln." Maybe that's his standard. Do you know? He did say that the player doesn't lack in confidence. He doesn't lack in confidence. We've had him at the training ground for 3 or 4 days. We saw on Saturday he came in and he made a really good impact. Some people say he didn't score, but what Johnny Kenny does bring is youth and enthusiasm. And I think if someone can get that youth enthusiasm and talent that he has to have, because Brendan Rodgers, Martin O'Neill, and now another manager is talking up Johnny Kenny. These are people that manage football teams. These are people that are in the trenches. But fans will say Johnny Kenny is completely shite. He says that we spoke to him in the summer and he seemed to be a bright lad who understood the game. We knew his strengths and what he could bring to our team. We didn't manage to get the deal done, but when I spoke to him in January, it didn't seem he was lacking in confidence. It just seems to me that he'd played in a Celtic team who have had a difficult season. No shit, Sherlock. They've had 3 different managers. That's not easy on a young player trying to lead the line for such a big club. We were just happy to have him here. He seems to be really enjoying it. He's settled in fine with the lads, and I think he'll be a good player for us. Remember that Bolton did come in with a £500,000 bid last summer for Johnny Kenny. The guy's rotten. Ask him if he wants Trusty, Hatate, McGregor, and Vuka. Oh, pish. uh, this is one of the worst Celtic teams I've ever seen. Sack the board. And, and what is sacking the board going to do, mate? Because you're just going to bring in other puppets for Dermot Desmond. Don't know. I think we should just sack the board stuff. Just needs to stop. You need to get rid of Dermot, and that I'm not going down that road today. But anyway, Schumacher says there's no reason why after a successful spell at Bolton and we send him back, he could feature more prominently for Celtic. That's part of our job, is to help him develop. We want him to score goals and give us a chance to get promoted. That's the main objective. But as a coach, we want to help him as well. I have to ask myself, how can he get better? Who knows what level he could go back to play at? I think he could play for Celtic on a regular basis because he's that good. But obviously, he needs to keep playing and keep getting goals and keep showing everybody what he can do. He's a really good lad. I'm really pleased with him and really pleased to have him here and say I hope he enjoys his time with us. That was the Bolton manager in the Bolton News this morning, speaking about Johnny Kenny. It's an interesting one because and you see on uh, here's a thought. Here is a thought. The modern day football player, they all have Instagrams and they all have social media and their mates all have social media. So they see the shit that gets written about them online. Do we put far too much pressure on younger players? Social media is a nasty place. Let's face it. I mean, social media. I try to stay off of social media as much as I can when it comes to football stuff and everything like that because it's just pure evil. And if you're a young player, you stay just stay the hell away from social media. I mean, it's done James Forrest not bad. If James Forrest had social media, he would have left Celtic years ago because he's been told on social media that he's absolutely shite for around about 10 years, the last 10 years at Celtic. Even though social media has only came to prominence in the last 10 years. But you get what I'm saying. Anyway, we move on from Johnny Kenny this morning because I think he's a player that was never meant to be number one striker at Celtic. And we all know this. We know the story about Johnny Kenny, but I think that the younger players these days, I mean, could you imagine if Sean Maloney and Aidan McGeady and players such like had social media back in their day? It'd have been horrendous. You know, players wouldn't have stayed at Celtic long, and you know, and it's no wonder that younger players. And here's a flip side to it. We blame the club for younger players wanting to get away from Celtic. Is there also a part in the over the last couple of years that younger players that have came through the academy and that have been champing on the door and went, fuck this. Is there a bit of them that's went the fucking pressure on the social media side of it, of playing for Celtic, and the stick, especially Mikey Johnson. I mean, Mikey Johnson used to get it in the neck on social media. Is there a bit of that agents play on? Move away from Celtic and you'll not get any hassle on social media, mate. You'll have a nice, easy life playing football. You know, you'll not get nowhere near the grief that you get as a player playing for Celtic. And if you don't perform 1 week, you're absolutely shite and you're never Celtic class. Is that the angle that agents play on when they're trying to take the heart and soul of the player, a younger player, away from the club? I think it could be something in it. I'll tell you one thing, if you're an agent yourself, you would definitely go down that road because you want the best for your player. You want the best for his career. And for him to get slated, a younger player to get slated weekly, daily, hourly on social media, it's not fair on the young lad because he's just a young lad, having played football from a young age, coming through the system, trying to earn a living. Do you know? But anyway, Do you think the Scunthorpe fans don't abuse players online? It's nowhere near to the level. It's nowhere near to the level of Celtic, is it? Come on, Hoopsaholic. It's nowhere near the level of Celtic. Anyway, let's move on from one rank rotten player, as some fans will say, to another rank rotten player, as some would say. Lewis Palma has been speaking, and he says that he wants his future away from Celtic. Hurrah! Is the cry this morning. Another player that was absolutely shite at Celtic, who spent more time on social media than he did on the pitch at Celtic Park. Brendan Rodgers loaned him out last summer. He went to Poland, and even though he's not had a great amount of game time at Poland, he has said that he wants to stay in Poland. But there is a big issue. Celtic value Louis Palma at £4 million. Celtic are trying to recoup some of the money. Celtic can't keep on buying in players. We're in a bad enough. Oh, I'm not going down that road. Don't go down that road. We're in a bad enough state as it is when it comes to players without giving players away for free. Lewis Palmer says, I'm working hard to get my place back in the team. That's football for you. So he's not even getting a start. He's came on as a substitute. And they are still in the Europa Conference League. Maybe that's his player. But Palmer does not appear to be part of Glasgow Celtic's plans, that's for sure, because we've brought in other players that, I think there's going to be a massive clear out in the summer. But who knows? And there's one thing, we still have no idea who the next Celtic manager will be. And I know it's February and I know that it's a long time away, but you would like to see Celtic being a bit more proactive. And hopefully they are being proactive behind the scenes and have maybe started conversations with potentials. Because if they leave it to the summer, it's far too late. We're looking at next season. You're looking at the transfer window being a shambles of a transfer window. And you're looking at the fact that bringing in a manager so close to trying to get into Europe, you could forget Europe next year again. You'd be lucky if we get the Europa. And we just wait to see. It's not. I'm not looking forward to next season, to be honest. It doesn't matter who comes in as manager. We've totally cocked up the next year for Celtic. We could bring in Houdini as manager. It's going to be very telling, especially when we get to the end of the season and Celtic start chapping on the doors of your email boxes to try and get money in for season tickets. How many will pay out without knowing who a manager is, what the expectation level of that manager is, what the ambition of the board is? Don't know. But that's all to come in the summer. Laz, who do you think will be the new Celtic manager at the end of the season? Not a clue. Not a clue. Who was the scout that rated Palma? It's probably the same scout that related everyone else. Balak Wisher and all the rest of it. There's been a lot of bad scouts at Celtic. Is it bad scouts or is it bad financial decisions on the way that the club is going? Are we buying players based on their value and their potential to turn it into something else? Are we purely buying players on potential? Or you buy every player on potential, but are we solely focused on, as a club, as buying players with potential for increased revenue as we sell that player on? It has been the model that's worked successfully in a few occasions, but over the last 4 years, it's been pretty poor. I mean, you can count, you could say that there's been a couple of players that's went for big money. Jota went for big money. Another midfielder went for big money. But we've been disastrous when you see the amount of players that we've brought in and we've let go, we've put back out on loan, we've shipped back out. There's a huge amount of players that have not been a success at Celtic over the last 4 years, even though we are on 4 in a row, going for 5. Can we get the 5 in a row? Desmond will move the team to Dublin. I don't think so, but don't know what. Liverpool sold Ben Doak for 20 million, did they not? And Celtic never got a penny out. Celtic got 450 grand. But it's like I say, he never, he never, he never seen a pathway into the Celtics team on a regular basis. You're asking the wrong question. Who was the agent that recommended Palma? We should bring in Steve Clark to sell pies in Bovril, says Chris. Um, but anyway, right, we now look forward to the game on Thursday evening. Having had the last game, which was unbelievable and fantastic, and everything that was great about Celtic winning a late goal late on. It's Kilmarnock 2, Celtic 3. And I did say that would be a hard game. People thought it was going to be an easy game. I don't know what side of the moon they were on, because Kilmarnock are they're scoring quite a few goals at home at Rugby Park. And I tell you one thing, they are going down with a fight. Hopefully they do go down, but they are going down with a fight. Can Celtic get a better result at Celtic Park against Stuttgart? Stuttgart is next up. Kicks off at 8 o'clock. Celtic Park time, and it's going to be a game and a half. With the lacklustre performances being the norm for Celtic fans over the first 45 minutes of a game, you get all excited, you go to Celtic Park, you go, yes, I'm going. This is the emotions that you go through. Every fan goes through these emotions on a regular basis. Right now for Celtic, you wake up in the morning and you're all excited. You have your breakfast and your first coffee of the day, and you say, yes, I'm going to see my team, I'm going to watch it on telly, I'm going to get a few beers in, I'm going to have a fantastic day watching Celtic Football Club. And then the game kicks off. And 10 minutes into the game, you're full of life regrets. You're completely full of life regrets, and you're wishing you'd maybe stayed at home and just went out for dinner with the missus or something. Went shopping. You'd rather be stuck in a shop with the missus, just wandering about like men do, going, how fucking long is she going to be? Has to be more to life than this. But you're sitting at Celtic Park and you're watching an absolute mundane game of football, and you've got all these life regrets, and then it gets to the 90th minute and we score. And then we're all back in love with Celtic again. Yes, you've won and you've went away happy. We can't go through this roller coaster on a weekly basis. 3 times a week we can't go through this roller coaster. Can Celtic build up a momentum? It is a lot of hard games coming up, a lot of away games, and maybe it's the fact that it is away games is putting more pressure, or is it giving the players the loving has always been there. I've said this for a long time. The away fans are the heart and soul of Celtic Football Club, but with the fixtures that are coming up, the away fans are going to have to put in a shift or two to get the team over the line. Next up is Stuttgart in 2 days, 11 hours, and 11 minutes. Exactly at this point, since we're live in the morning. If you're watching it back, it's now not 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 10 minutes. It will have reduced because you're watching it later. We digress. Anyway, and the fact that it's an 8 o'clock kickoff versus Stuttgart, I wonder if it will be a sellout. Most of the games at Celtic Park in the Europa have been a sellout. This moment, standing outside the shop on the phone watching Celtic content. That's true. That is true. I found myself doing at least I know there are other people, there are other men that do the exact same as me then. So now you're just fuck yeah. Martin O'Neill press conference, is it? I'll be outside, love. I'll just wait outside for you. See what Martin O'Neill's saying to you. Sitting with your phone on. Um But yeah, sitting on your, I'll stand outside the shop watching Celtic content rather than being at the game and being bored to tears. But anyway, we do have another game at Celtic Park. Is this the two games that could ultimately change the season? A good performance, a good result against Stuttgart. can that get us right into the mood for going into the game on Sunday? And then a good win, a good performance against Hibernian. Hibernian, who sold one of their players in the last window for 6 million. Will it make a massive difference that Bowie isn't at Hibs anymore? And then we go Stuttgart away the following Thursday, a week on Thursday. Before we tie up the end of the month, it's 3 cracking games to finish off the month. We've done not so bad when you look at the targets that were set for this month. You know, I did say that if we can get to the end of the month and have won games, you don't need to win them nice. You don't need to, maybe our old tickers can't deal with it. I mean, Martin O'Neill really needs to watch because he's 70-odd-year-old. We'll remember what happened to Jock Stein on the side of the pitch when Scotland qualified for a World Cup in 1980 odds. And God forbid that I ever see anything like that happen again, because it was horrendous watching that as a young kid, and it's stuck in my mind for years, and watching it live on telly, it was just unbelievable. But Martin O'Neill's fine and he's a lot healthier. But we move on. Can we get the good result against Stuttgart? Can we get a good result against Hibernian to finish off the month at least on a good note? But then again, you go away to Stuttgart. A lot of people are saying, do you know if the Green Brigade are getting back into Celtic Park? No, I don't. As far as I know, that there has been a meeting, and they are miles apart when it comes to negotiations. That's all I'm saying. So as it stands of last night, they weren't back in. But anyway, that's all that I know. I don't know who was in the meetings or what. I know that Celtic have had meetings with a few organisations directly. It looks like they are not planning on talking to the Celtic fans collective anytime soon. They are going to the individual associations like they said they would do. So that's the last I'll talk about that this morning. But anyway, that is everything Celtic this morning. I'm just looking at the games that's coming up. I mean, it's either the stuff of dreams or, being all honest, it's either the stuff of dreams or nightmares. It does remind me of 2003 a bit. And especially the way that the league is going, and especially with Europe. Next month's a killer month. Next month will tell you, obviously, how successful we're going to be this season, or how unsuccessful we're going to be this season. And there could be 2 more added games if we're to get through. But Martin O'Neill, there's one bit of him says, I'm not too sure. I could do without the 2 extra games next month. Have you seen the games that we've got? I'd rather have a week in between, because Rangers will get a week in between games. Aberdeen will get a week in between games. Motherwell, we're getting a week in between games. But if you want to be in all competitions at later end of the season, do we have the squad? That's another question altogether. Who do you reckon starts on Thursday? That is the big question, because with Arnie Engels out injured, Martin O'Neill will have to make a decision. Balagusha's up there with Shane Duffer and Rafal Shadite when it comes to rubbish players. Well, that's under Martin O'Neill. I mean, we don't know. I think the big question for Celtic fans, especially for the game on Thursday, is the Kasper Schmeichel effect. He's a fantastic goalkeeper, but he's aging. And not only is it aging, he's carrying an injury to his left shoulder. And the inability of Kasper to dive to his left, he tries to get it with his right hand. When, mate, your left hand goes out further. Can we not bring something? Can we not bring something in due to injury? No, you can't because you've got a shitload of goalkeepers. Yeah. Anyway, right, that is me done and dusted for this morning. I will be back later on this afternoon, or I will be back at 8 p.m. at Celtic Park time tonight, where we start ramping it up and we start talking about the game. And you never know, we might have a bit more information about fans getting back in. I've blocked everything out now, just the next game for me. Everything else is white noise. Here, who says Liam in 2003, every point we lost in the league was after midweek European game. I was thinking Ox for Engels. Ox isn't in the European squad. Celtic need consistency in games. Yeah, we do that. Love Johnny Kenny. You can't tell me Adamu is any better, says Chilpill. Casper's carrying an injury and a couple of buckets of KFC around his waistline. Casper's definitely a player down with an injury. Kelly hit the bar. Casper never moved. He thought it was going over. Yep. Asked me after 10 games. Casper shouldn't be playing. Casper reminds me of Roland from Grange Hill. Oh man, that's ha ha. Oh, you have to be a certain age to it. Leave the fat lad alone. What's Roland ever done to you to be compared to Casper Schmeichel? Jim McClatchy is there. Used to play concrete pitches in the past. Anyway, that has been done and dusted for this morning. Thank you to everyone who has jumped on this live this morning. Big week ahead, big month ahead, big month ahead next month. It's never stopping, does it? But can Celtic keep going? Can they? Anyway, see you in the next one.